This is a classic blues and R&B podcast. Well, I listen to your stuff, man. Rhute Doctor, are you the same Negro that used to eat pig or never ate pig?
Never did.
You never did?
They tried to make me eat it. I was eating a little bit when because my parents thought that's what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, that
Why
is
you
true.
eat you some of that meat? It'd be the last thing on my plate. You got to eat some meat. And that's, and when I came up here, when I used to go back home, my mom, well, we got to feed you,
Because you never got in the big, you about the same size you always were to them, right?
Yeah. Okay. I've been this size all the time.
Okay. Because I was playing that Ohio, I don't know, man. This the same Negro that that when I'm talking to him. And I played the Hungry Hound. I said, like I said, Rhute, you got some good stuff, man. It's your voice, man. Listening that you talk, and then listening to the music you do. I mean, your music is good, man. You do some good stuff.
Yeah. I try to perfect my craft, because that's what's important. That's what's always been important to me, is to, if you do your work, everything else will fall in place. Because when people listen at you, they know if it's junk or not. They might not say nothing to you, but everybody knows good music when they hear it.
Well, yeah,
I can tell from there, when they hear stuff, they come back. They be saying, man, I didn't, I bought one of your CDs, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. You sound like a pro.
No, yeah. I mean, in the musicians, you had a good music. Now, do you have a regular band?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, who was with you on that Hungry Hound?
I always use Roosevelt Purifier on keyboard. Bobo was my bass player, but he passed away about a couple of years ago. He was a natural bass player. He was kind of bass player like I could write a song and put it down, and he knew just what kind of bass pattern to put to it. See what I mean? In other words, that's what a real musician, if you play tenor, I can't tell you how to play it. That's your job if you can play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with, if I go get a piano player, I'm going to get somebody that I know. It's just like when John Hathaway came in the studio and said, man, let me play on that tune. I was more than happy because I knew who he was, Yeah.
So who else you had on that Hungry Hound?
I had, let me see. I had a dude named Dirty Red on drums. He had a drug problem. Sometimes he'd be playing. You look back there, he'd be leading almost to the floor. But he never went back to Texas somewhere. But he was a natural drummer. He could hold that beat,
Even with him almost pass on the floor?
Yeah. He was something else. Yeah. But I would use him in the studio, but I didn't use him live on the bandstand, Yeah.
And who was on rhythm guitar? Did you play them all?
I played all the guitar part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all the guitar part. And Tom always did all of my horns.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom Washington.
Right, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, right.
You're not the only guy that talked about Tom doing the range of horns and thing. I know I was talking to the great Charles Wright, and he was watched 103rd Street, and he said Tom did a lot of arranging and stuff for him, and I think he still the other day when he was around, yeah.
And most of the stuff that came out of Chicago had Tom touch to it.
Yeah.
And then they would fly him to England, do all them white boy stuff. Yeah. And then he did symphony too. 150-piece orchestra.
Okay, yeah.
He was the man.
Yeah.
I mean, Quincy Jones had nothing on it.
Something kind of like this right here.
Since we talk about Tom Washington, this is the 50th anniversary of Curtis Mayfield. What can you say about Curtis? Did you ever work with him?
No, I just saw him a couple of times down at Paul Serrano's. When Paul had his studio down there. And we knew each other, but we never did do any work or anything together,
Mm-hmm. What would be your thoughts on him as a musician, as a creator, or what have you? I thought he was quite great.
He was a genius when it comes to music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would consider him a genius. I'd put him right up there with Donny Hathaway, Stevie Wonder,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Ray Charles, those guys, yeah.
Yeah, Ray Charles, yeah.
How many of these did Donny Hathaway play on?
He just played on this particular one here because Archie then was producing me, and Donny was quite busy. Yeah, he was quite busy doing other stuff, and like a lot of times when we go in the studio, he would be in the studio at the same time. But we had offices down. His office was right down there next to ours on 13th and Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We was up on 3rd floor down there.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of the time I spent with Donnie because he was doing some arrangement for Betty Everett too, and Jerry Butler and them,
Mm-hmm. And where was that studio located? What was the name of that studio?
It wasn't a studio. This was just where the offices was at.
Okay, I mean the studio y'all recorded out of.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that was CRC, Chicago Recording Company.
Mm-hmm.
Down on Kinsey, right off of Columbus.
Kinsey, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, most stuff was right up in there. And that was another studio we used. Was a big time studio. I can't remember the name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But CRC, where I did most of my stuff. And I did, let me see. No, I never did. I did a couple of demos at Paul Serrano's, PS. And I did some stuff with Pop Stapleton when they had their studio up on 103rd. But all of my CDs, that stuff came out of over here on 81st and Stony and down at CRC.
Now, who owned that studio? Where did Curtis studio? Where was Curtis studio at over there? He had a studio over there, right?
He had a studio on Stony. I can't remember exactly the address.
Okay.
Curtown.
Right. We're talking to the great one and only Rhute Dr. Rhute Muuzic, here on our program. And I tell you what, Dr. Rhute is also known as Roy Hightower. For those of you down in Mobile, Alabama, you say, come on over here, boy. Your name is Roy Hightower.
Yes, indeed.
Now, Roy, you, excuse me for calling you Roy. No disrespect when I call you that. That's honor to your father,
Yeah.
Anyway, Dr. Rhute, now you had there's 3 sisters. When will I see you again?
Oh, you mean the Hutchinson sisters? The
Emotions, right.
Emotions, right.
Now, how many recordings did they back you up on, or what?
2.
Uh-huh.
2 songs, right.
Yeah, and where were those recorded at, and what was that like, having those young girls behind you, learn something from you?
That was it was a studio that was very competitive to CRC, but I can't. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was ABC or CBS. It might have been CBS.
Okay.
I think they had a studio. It was it was expensive studio. It was a good studio, good sounding studio.
Mm-hmm. You was back there when Chicago had a whole lot of studios.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you recorded with Jimmy Reed and VJ, now what did they do their recording?
I can't remember that studio. I think that might have been CRC too, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna look on my album cover. It's
always good chatting with my man, the Rhute Doctor, real American hero. A lot of folks think that they don't exist. Yeah, he's still alive and breathing, kicking.
Yes, indeed.
Don't eat no meat, though, folks. You got to give him fish. He's an old Mobile boy. He got to have that fish.
Nothing with a face on it.
I forgot. He just swim with the dolphins. I forgot. He go out there and swim with the dolphins and the whales and all that stuff.
Down on Dolphin Island.
Yeah. But Rhute, it's always a great pleasure talking to you.
Same here.
It's always a great pleasure, my man. And we've been talking to the Rhute doctor here, Mr. Dr. Rhute Muuzic. We have had a wonderful conversation with him here on our program, Classic Blues and R&B. A great American artist there, the Rhute doctor. You should check him out. Check out some of his CDs, his albums, or whatever you call them today. And I guarantee you, when you listen to him, you would like a whole bunch of them, because this guy got talent, folks. And he's funny. He's a storyteller. And that's what, to me, a great artist is, able to tell a story. You're listening to Classic Blues and R&B here on my YouTube channel. I'm Sir Henry Cheatham, your host here on this program. And we do snippets and put them up every so often. Want to do it a little bit more frequently, but hey, we do it when we can and when we can. Until next time, this is Sir Henry Cheatham saying, like our Facebook page at Classic Blues and R&B. Follow us on Twitter at WVON Henry, at Henry_Cheatham. And please subscribe to my YouTube at Henry CB 6175. That's Henry CB 6175. Thanks for joining our podcast here on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to us at Henry CB. Follow us on Twitter at WVON Henry and like our Facebook page at Classic Blues and R&B.